Zodiac signs and what they feel but never say. Check timestamps for your sign. Aries. Underneath the confidence, they often carry the feeling that they have to stay strong even when something hurts more than they expected. They do not like admitting disappointment too quickly, especially if it makes them feel exposed, rejected, or less in control than they want to be. Instead, they push forward, stay active, and act tougher than the moment really feels. That emotion leaks out through impatience, sharper reactions, and the urge to regain control fast. What they rarely say is that being let down affects both their pride and their heart. They do not only fear pain, they fear being seen in it too soon. Taurus. What stays unspoken most is how deeply they feel disappointment once trust starts shifting. They may look calm and steady on the outside, but inside they often feel hurt much earlier than they admit. They keep it to themselves because once they say it out loud, the wound becomes real in a way they cannot undo. Instead, they hold it quietly and wait to see whether the feeling passes or settles deeper. That emotion leaks out through silence, distance, and heaviness in their energy. What they wish people understood is simple. They do not shut down because they feel nothing. They shut down because they feel too much. Gemini. One feeling they rarely admit is how often they feel misunderstood even while seeming easy to know. They can talk, joke, explain, and keep everything moving, yet still walk away feeling like nobody fully caught what was underneath. They do not always say that because they would rather stay light than risk sounding too serious, too emotional, or harder to hold than they appear. That feeling leaks out through mixed energy, over-explaining, or sudden distance after a moment that looked fine on the surface. What they wish people understood is that being easy to talk to does not mean being easy to truly read. Cancer. Beneath the softness is often the feeling that they care more than they safely know how to show. They rarely say it because once they admit how deeply something touched them, they feel emotionally exposed in a way they cannot easily control. Instead, they keep loving, keep noticing, and keep carrying the emotional weight in private long after everyone else seems done with the moment. That feeling leaks out through withdrawal, changed moods, and the quiet sadness of someone who expected more care than they received. What they wish people understood is that their silence usually holds more heartbreak than their words ever will. Leo. What they keep buried more than people realize is how much they need to feel genuinely valued, not just admired on the surface. They do not like admitting that because pride makes it hard to confess when something bruised them emotionally. Instead, they keep the posture, protect the image, and act stronger than the moment really feels inside. That emotion leaks out through sudden coldness, defensiveness, or a shift in warmth when they feel overlooked or emotionally unimportant. What they wish people understood is that confidence does not cancel sensitivity. Sometimes the brightest version of them is hiding a very bruised heart. Virgo. One feeling they rarely voice is how often they feel quietly overwhelmed by everything they are holding inside. They may look composed, helpful, and in control, but there are many moments when they are much more affected than they let anyone see. They do not always say it because they fear sounding dramatic, burdensome, or emotionally messy in ways they cannot organize. Instead, they keep functioning and keep thinking. That feeling leaks out through overthinking, criticism, tension, and the need to manage everything around them more tightly. What they wish people understood is that being the steady one does not mean they are never struggling. Libra. Underneath the calm exterior is often the feeling that they are carrying more emotional imbalance than they are showing. They rarely say it because they do not want to make things heavier, uglier, or harder than they already feel. Instead, they smooth things over, keep the tone light, and hold a lot of disappointment in private while trying to preserve peace around them. That feeling leaks out through subtle distance, changed energy, and a softness that suddenly feels less open than before. What they wish people understood is that harmony matters because they feel disharmony deeply. Their silence is often protection, not absence. Scorpio. What stays hidden most is how intensely they can feel betrayal, doubt, and exposure even before they say a word about it. They do not admit it easily because once something touches that level of vulnerability, control becomes their first instinct. Rather than naming the feeling, they hold it close and start protecting the part of themselves that suddenly feels unsafe. That emotion leaks out through colder energy, sharper observation, distance, and a refusal to reveal too much while they are still hurting. What they wish people understood is that their silence is rarely emptiness. It is emotion being guarded before it can be used against them. Sagittarius. One feeling they rarely say out loud is how uncomfortable they become when pain starts feeling heavier than they know how to hold. They may look open, funny, and emotionally free, but there are moments when disappointment or sadness makes them want to outrun the whole thing before it settles. They do not always admit that because they do not like feeling trapped inside emotions they cannot solve quickly. That feeling leaks out through distance, jokes, changed pace, and acting more casual than the moment really is. What they wish people understood is that movement is sometimes their way of surviving a feeling they cannot yet name. Capricorn. Beneath the control is often the feeling that they are carrying more emotion than anyone would guess. They do not say it easily because they do not trust every space with their vulnerability, and they hate the idea of finally opening up only to be mishandled. Instead, they contain it, organize it, and act like they are fine while the real feeling stays locked behind restraint. That emotion leaks out through distance, heavier seriousness, and the sudden absence of warmth they were giving before. What they wish people understood is that self-control does not mean emotional emptiness. It often means they are hurting without permission to show it. Aquarius. What they keep inside more than people realize is how often they feel emotionally misunderstood, even when they seem perfectly calm. They do not always say it because putting deep feelings into words can make them feel exposed, and exposure without understanding feels worse than silence. Instead, they stay composed, shift into logic, or step back before the emotion gets too visible. That feeling leaks out through detachment, shorter answers, and an energy that suddenly feels farther away than before. What they wish people understood is that distance does not always mean disinterest. Sometimes it means they are protecting feelings they do not trust the moment to hold. Pisces. One feeling they rarely voice is how easily they absorb emotional weight that was never fully theirs to carry. They may seem gentle, soft, and understanding, but inside they often hold disappointment, sadness, and quiet longing much longer than anyone notices. They do not always say it because they fear sounding too sensitive, too deep, or too difficult for people who only want the lighter version of them. That feeling leaks out through retreat, dreamy distance, and a strange quietness when they feel overwhelmed inside. What they wish people understood is that softness is not emptiness. It is often a heart carrying more than it knows how to explain. Thank you for watching the video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments box. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get all the updates.